Good morning, students. I hope you all are in good health. I, Shreya Jadhav, welcome you all to my e learning channel. Today, we are going to learn English, Grade 10, Poem 2. This poem is from your first flight. The title is A Tiger in the Zoo. This is written by Leslie Norris. So, dear students, when you observe this picture in front of you, you can come to know the poetry is about what. Over here, what is the exact situation, feeling, condition of the tiger is being described over here. What are his feelings? So, before going through the poetry, let us know something about the poet. George Leslie Norris, born on 21st May 1921, died on 6th April 2006. George Leslie Norris was a prize winning Welsh poet and a short story writer. Norris is considered as one of the most important Welsh writers of the post war period, and his literary publications have won many prizes. His personal work deals with such themes as his Welsh home, his past, especially the pre war period, his experiences as a teacher, nature, and the life of the instinct. Setting. This poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with the tiger in its natural habitat. This poem moves from zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. So, over here, you will see how the tiger is having a contrast life, having totally different life when he is living in the zoo and when he is living in its natural habitat, that is in jungle. Introduction for answers. Dear students, whenever you write down your question answers, before writing the main answer, you are supposed to write introduction. This presentation will be really very well and would be really very helpful for you to score good marks. Poem. Poem's name, A Tiger in the Zoo. Poet's name, Leslie Norris. Genre, poetry. Summary. This poem contrasts a tiger in the zoo with the tiger in its natural habitat. The poem moves from zoo to the jungle and back again to the zoo. So let us start the reading and explanation of the poetry along with the difficult words. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage, on the beds of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. So over here in the first paragraph, this paragraph talks about when the tiger is in his cage. So let us go through the meanings. Stalks means to go through or to walk. Vivid means colorful. Pads over here means feet of tiger. Rage means anger. So the poet is starting up by saying that he means the tiger is continuously passing, continuously going through his vivid stripes. And moreover to that, he has really few steps to take in his cage. Means the cage is not that big enough for the tiger to move freely. On pads of velvet. So over here, the feet of the tiger are very soft enough. Yes, they are padded. And as they are really very soft, over here the comparison is being made with the velvet. Velvet is a kind of a material which is really very smooth enough. So over here the comparison of the feet is being made with velvet. So the tiger is walking very quietly and calmly in the cage, but he's really very angry. The second paragraph, he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. So, in this second paragraph, we will come to know that here the description is related to the jungle area. When the tiger is in the jungle, how he behaves. So the meanings are lurking means waiting, sliding means to move side to side. So over here the tiger is waiting in the shadow. He might be waiting under the tree or would be sliding through long grass means he might be moving between the long grasses in the jungle. Now tiger is waiting for whom? Under the shadow or through the long grasses near the water hole where plump deer pass. So the tiger is waiting for the prey to come near the water hole so that he could hunt down the plump deer and he could have his meal. The third paragraph. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. Meanings: snarling, roaring, baring, showing, fangs, teeth. So, the third paragraph talks about the tiger living in the natural habitat, that is jungle. So, over here, the tiger should be snarling around, means he should be roaring around the houses at the jungle's edge. So, where the jungle ends, the village area begins. So, he should be roaring over there, he should be terrorizing the people over there. That is where the tigers live. But baring his white fangs means showing his white teeth and his claws, he should be terrorizing the villagers or the village people over there. He might be threatening to them. But now, eventually, what happens? Let us see. The fourth paragraph says something like this: but he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. So, in the fourth paragraph, we are coming again back to the zoo. And over here, it has been said something like this, that the tiger is being locked. Locked where? In the concrete cell. Now, concrete cell means he is being locked up in the cage as he is in zoo. And his strength, all his power, his aggressiveness, his anger, everything is kept behind the bars. But still, he is stalking the length of his cage, ignoring the visitors. Now, the tiger is unable to do anything when he is inside the cage. So, very silently, the tiger is moving inside the cage and he is not at all interested in observing the visitors. Yes, he is not at all entertaining the visitors, he is totally ignoring them. Now, at the end, what conclusion do we get over here? When tiger is free, yes, when he is in his natural habitat, he is really able to make people terrorize. Means while looking at the tiger, they are so much scared and horrified. But when the same tiger is being viewed or observed or seen in the zoo, the people's perspective change all of a sudden. They think that this tiger is unable to do anything, and at a certain length we can also say that it is true, as he is behind a concrete cell, as he is behind the bars, it is not possible for him to go through or to make people terrorize. And because of this thing, the tiger is ignoring all the visitors. The fifth paragraph says something like this: he hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes and the brilliant stars. So, in the last paragraph, it has been discussed about the tiger in the zoo. So in the previous, also in setting also, we have seen, in the summary of the answers also, we have seen that the poetry is beginning from the zoo, then it goes to the jungle, and by the end of the poetry we are again coming to the zoo area. So over here the difficult words are: patrolling means touring, stairs means to gaze, brilliant means wonderful. So the poet is trying to tell us that at the end, the tiger listens to the last voice at night. And what the noise is about? The voice is about the patrolling cars, means the cars are touring, they are having a sort of security check within the zoo. So during the morning daytime, he is always surrounded by people who are, busy admiring him, but he isn't interested. And moreover to that, he is not having a peaceful night also. Why? Because at the night he is listening to those patrolling cars and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So at the end, the tiger is really very taken aback. He is, continuously staring, gazing at those brilliant stars from his cage. That if he was outside, means in his natural habitat, the scenario would be something else. So with his brilliant eyes, no, tiger's eyes are really very sharp. Yes, over here one figure is also given to you. One picture is kept. How beautiful the tiger's eyes are looking. Yes, so those beautiful, brilliant eyes, he is observing the brilliant stars, and he is missing his natural habitat, his original life for what he was born. He is missing that thing. So, this is all about the poem written by Leslie Norris. So, let us have a quick summary of what we have just gone through. Now, still, students, if you find any doubt or queries, you can have a look over here so that you can understand it really very well. Over here, paragraph wise description has been given to you, so this could be really very helpful. We see the tiger walking up and down quietly in the cage in his brightly colored stripes. He moves quietly on his soft padded feet, which are like velvet. The tiger is helpless in the cage and he is really very angry. So this is description of the first paragraph which we have gone through. And in the first paragraph, the tiger is in the zoo, and how he feels, the description is given over here. The tiger should have been in its natural habitat. He should be lying in wait for his prey in the shadow of the vegetation and sliding through the long grass. He would be waiting for a fat deer to pass his way while coming to the water hole so that he could make a kill. So this is description of the second paragraph, and over here we can see that the tiger is in its natural habitat, that is in the jungle. And what he is doing, he is lying over there, means he might be resting or sleeping under a shade or a tree, or he might be moving or passing through the grass, between the grasses, and he is waiting for what? He is waiting for a fat deer. A plump deer means a fat deer to pass his way, while the deer is coming to the water hole so that the tiger could kill him and he could eat the tiger up. The poet feels that the real house for the tiger is the jungle. The tiger should be snarling loud at the edge of the jungle, where he should be terrorized or frighten the villagers by showing his white teeth and claws. So over here, this third paragraph description is given, and over here it has been described about the jungle area. The poet feels that the real house for the tiger is the jungle and not the zoo. What is the reason? That as the tiger, what should be his activities? Yes, his activities should be that he should be snarling, means he should be roaring really very loud at the edge of the jungle, okay, near the outskirts. Yes, and what will happen when he is roaring so loudly? Yes, and when he roars loud, the people or the villagers living in the nearby area are terrorized or they are frightened by the roaring or snarling sound by the tiger. And tiger might be threatening or frightening them by showing his white teeth and claws. However, sadly, the tiger has been locked in a cemented prison. He can only move around the length of his small cage. He is not interested in the visitors who come to see him. His strength is wasted behind the bars of cage. He is a strong animal but helpless. So, in this fourth paragraph, we are coming back again to the zoo. Yes, and the poet is trying to say that it is really very sad. Why? Because the tiger is being locked up in a cemented prison. Now, cemented prison, it means he is being locked up in a cage, and moreover to that, he is unable to move. Okay, why? Because the cage is not that big enough, so he can only move around the length of his small cage, means in a very limited area he is supposed to move. He is not interested in the visitors who come to see him. His strength is wasted behind the bars of a cage. Means he is fed up of the people who come over there. Yes, and he thinks he is a bit shredded up. Why? Because his strength is being wasted behind the bars. Why? Because tiger is our national animal, and moreover to that, he is really very strong. Yes, he is having plenty of strength, courage within him. But when he is inside the zoo, he is helpless and unable to do anything. During the day, there are visitors who stares at him, and the night he is disturbed by the police who are patrolling the zoo to ensure its security. The poor animal keeps on looking at the brilliant stars with his own brilliant eyes and pitiful manner wondering when he would give his freedom. When he would get his freedom. So in the last paragraph, the description of the zoo is being given, and over here the poet is trying to say that during the day he's always been disturbed by the visitors, okay, who continuously stares at him, okay, and at the night he is again being disturbed by the human, means the police, who are patrolling the zoo to ensure about the security for the animals living over there. So how the condition of tiger has become? Yes, the poor animal is continuously looking at those brilliant stars with his own brilliant eyes. Yes, he is constantly observing the sky and how brilliant stars are there, and pitiful manner wondering when he would get his freedom. So he's continuously observing the stars, and he is trying to recall, or he is in a positive approach, that when he shall be getting his freedom back, means when he can leave this zoo, when he can move out from here and he would be sent to his natural habitat, that is the jungle. Now dear students, you just imagine if we are supposed to be forced to stay in one place, how would be our situation? Now actually, to be said, we all have suffered those things. Yes, because of this lockdown period we all were stuck inside the home, so we can really very resemble how the tiger might be feeling. Yes, so I hope you all have understood the concept, and I hope you all have understood the meaning of the poetry. So now let us go through the figures of speech of the poem line by line. The first one, he stalks in his vivid stripes. So over here, the first figure of speech is alliteration. So first we will go through the meaning, then we will understand it. So the meaning is repetition of consonant sound, especially in the beginning of the word, is said to be alliteration. Okay, the consonant sound which are being repeated. So that is considered as alliteration. So over here, the sound of consonant st, that is st, okay, is being put forward. We have here stalks and stripes. Yes, so this becomes alliteration. The second figure of speech, the few steps of his cage. Metonymy. Now, what is the definition of it? An attribute or a thing is being represented by another closely related to the thing. So let us understand it. The words few steps represents the smallness of the cage. So over here, metonymy means a particular attribute. Specific adjectives are being used, yes, to represent things. So over here, few steps means that the cage is really very small for the tiger to move. So this becomes metonymy. On pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. So over here, the first figure of speech is metaphor. Now metaphor is implied simile. Over here, indirect comparison is being made between two unlike objects where comparison is taken for granted. Over here, the softness of tiger's paws is compared to velvet feet. So over here, the comparison is being made between tiger's paws, and it has been compared with whom? It has been compared with velvet feet. The second figure of speech is repetition. Repetition of words and phrases to increase the musical effect of a poem. Here, words are being repeated. Over here, the word quiet is being repeated for the poetic effect. Repetition is considered as one of the most easiest figures of speech. The third one is transferred epithet. So let us go through the meaning. Here, epithet means adjective. So the adjective is transferred from its original noun to another closely related to. So over here, the word quiet is being transferred from tiger to his rage. They are being closely related to. And if you want to understand transferred epithet, the adjective is always used with the noun. Yes, so quiet becomes the adjective. Next one is synecdoche. Now, the meaning of it is a part stands for a whole or a whole stands for a part for poetic effect. So, if you want to understand synecdoche really very well, always remember that when any part, for example, any human body part or any living part is being included, it could be considered as synecdoche. So, over here, the part, it means pads of velvet, stands for the tiger. Now, pads of velvet means the feet of the tiger. So, it becomes synecdoche. A small part of tiger's body is being put over here. So, this becomes synecdoche. Fourth one, he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass. The first figure of speech over here is alliteration. The meaning of it is repetition of consonant sounds, especially in the beginning of the word, is said to be alliteration. So over here we have consonant sound sh, that is sh, is being repeated in the words like should and shadow. So that ss is being repeated in both the words. So this will become alliteration. Next figure of speech is internal rhyme. Meaning, use of two or more words which rhyme within one single line. Yes, it is considered as internal rhyme. In one single line, both the words should be rhyming. It should be in a sing-song manner. So over here, the rhyming words like lurking and sliding. At the end of the words, we have ing. So they both are rhyming with each other. And as they both are used in same sentence, okay, not one above the other, okay, but in one single statement, as they are being used for the poetic effect, this becomes internal rhyme. Dear students, there is a difference between internal rhyme and rhyming pattern. Rhyming pattern is to be observed at the end of the each word in the individual lines. An internal rhyme is within one line only. The fifth one is near the water hole where plump deer pass. Alliteration, meaning repetition of consonant sounds, especially in the beginning of the word, is said to be alliteration. The word of the consonant sound P okay, is being repeated in the words like plump and pass. In these two words, you can see that P is being repeated. So this will become alliteration. And we have one more words like the pair we have, that is W. That is water and where. That W is being repeated. Okay, so this becomes that consonant sound is being repeated. So this will become alliteration. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. So over here, the figure of speech is onomatopoeia. So let us understand the definition of it. The use of words which produce sound or echo for poetic effect is called onomatopoeia. So over here we have word snarling, and it suggests sound. Now, this figure of speech is really very interesting. When you listen to any sort of sound, okay, voice itself is a sound. Yes, when I speak, you speak, we can listen to each other, and that is sound. We all have different qualities and no echo of voice. We all have different no phases of voice. Yes, so this becomes onomatopoeia when any sort of sound is being produced or made. It is considered as onomatopoeia. And over here we have snarling. Now, snarling means roaring. So, roaring itself is a sound which is made by animals and specifically tiger. So, this becomes onomatopoeia. The next one is alliteration. Repetition of consonant sounds, especially in the beginning of the word, is said to be alliteration. Over here, the sound or the consonant sound H is being repeated in the words like he and houses. That H is being repeated in both the words. In the beginning of the word specifically, it is being repeated. So this will become alliteration. The third figure of speech is metonymy. An attribute or a thing is represented by another closely related to the thing. So over here, the word houses represents the people staying in it. Yes, the houses and the people are being compared with each other. So this will become metonymy. The next one is internal rhyme. Use of two or more words which rhyme within one single line. Yes, and over here we have rhyming words like he and be. Both are being used in same sentence for poetic effect. So this will become internal rhyme. Seventh one, bearing his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. So over here the first figure of speech is synecdoche. The definition of it is a part stands for whole or a whole stands for a part for poetic effect. And I have already mentioned that any kind of human body or living body parts are being mentioned, it becomes synecdoche. So over here fangs and claws. Fangs are the teeth, claws are a tiger's body part. Okay, so this becomes a synecdoche. The next one is exclamation. This is also one of the most easiest figures of speech, because over here the use of exclamatory form is being used to draw attention. Okay, and at the end of the poem line you will be having an exclamation mark. So it will be really very easy for you to identify it. And over here you all can see that an exclamatory form is being used for poetic effect. That at the end you can see that after terrorizing the village you have that exclamatory mark. So this becomes exclamation. The third figure of speech is internal rhyme. So use of two or more words which rhyme within one single line. So over here we have rhyming words like bearing and terrorizing. So at the end we have ing being used in one same statement. So this becomes internal rhyme. Yes, bearing we have ing and terrorizing we have ing behind the words. So this will become internal rhyme. The next one is repetition. The meaning of it is repetition of words and phrases to increase the musical effect of the poem. Here, words are being repeated. Yes, so this is also really very important to understand. Now you will be a bit confused that alliteration and repetition are one and the same. What is the difference between them? In alliteration, only starting letters of the words are similar. Yes, like we have that stars and stairs, so only S and S are being repeated. Yes, in the beginning they are being repeated. So that becomes alliteration. And repetition means the whole word is being repeated twice or more than that. Yes, so when words are being repeated, it will be repetition, and when only letters of the words are being repeated, or that specifically consonant sound letters are being repeated, that will become alliteration. So over here we have word his being repeated, okay, and this will become repetition. Eighth one, he is locked in a concrete cell. The first one is metonymy. The meaning of it is an attribute or a thing is represented by another closely related to the thing. The word concrete cell represents the cage of the tiger. So, metonymy means what? Over here, the poet has not directly written down the cage, but to create a more beautiful way of presenting his poetry, he has emphasized the words by writing it down concrete cell. So concrete cell represents what? It represents the cage of the tiger. Ninth one, his strength behind bars. The first one is irony. Now this is really very interesting figure of speech. The meaning of it is the real meaning is exactly opposite to the meaning which is conveyed. Now when you read the above line, his strength behind bars, now eventually we all know that tiger is really very strong, but in the present time it is not possible for the tiger to show his strength. So this will automatically become an irony. So over here, the tiger is helpless. Yes, he is unable to do anything to save himself. Why? Because he is behind the bars. And as he is behind the bars, he is not having the strength to show his courage and what he can eventually do. The next one is alliteration. It means repetition of consonant sound, especially in the beginning of the word, is said to be alliteration. Over here, the sound of consonant B or B is being repeated in the words like behind and bars. Yes, so behind we have B and bars we have B. So these two are initially same. Yes, so this will become alliteration. The 10th one, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring the visitors. The first figure of speech over here, we have internal rhyme. Use of two or more words which rhyme within one single line. So now, dear students, can you tell me which two words are rhyming over here? Yes, you are correct. Over here, we have rhyming words like stalking and ignoring. Yes, why? Because at the end of the words, we have ing being repeated. Yes, and this are considered as rhyming words. Why? Because it creates a poetic effect. 11th one, he hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars. The first figure of speech over here is onomatopoeia. Now the meaning of it is use of words which produce a sound or echo for poetic effect is called onomatopoeia. Yes, when any sort of sound comes. So over here the word voice suggests sound. Yes, we have seen that when we people talk, we have our own voice. Yes, we all differ. Some have thick voice, some have thin voice, some have a very melodious voice, some have a very stingy, straightforward voice. Yes, some people say from nose. Yes, so we have different sort of voices. Now all those voices are sound or echo. Yes, so over here the word voice suggests some sort of specific sound, and over here we have sound or voice of patrolling cars, means there might be some sirens being put in the cars, and that voice is being heard by whom? It is being heard by the tiger. The next figure of speech is transferred epithet. So here epithet means adjective. So the adjective is transferred from its original noun to another closely related to. Epithet means adjective. Okay. So the adjective is transferred. Yes, to what? From its original noun, it has been transferred to a closely related thing. And over here we have the word patrolling is being transferred from the police to the cars with which they are being closely connected. Over here we have no patrolling cars. Now cars eventually is being driven by whom? By the police, by the men. Okay, so that patrolling becomes an epithet, it becomes an adjective. Alliteration. Alliteration means repetition of consonant sound, especially in the beginning of the word, and it is said to be alliteration. So over here we have consonant sound H being repeated in the words like he and hears. The last one is and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So over here, the first figure of speech is synecdoche. The meaning is a part stands for a whole and a whole stands for a part. So over here, eyes stands for the whole tiger. The next one is metaphor. Metaphor means it is implied simile. And over here, there is indirect comparison made between the eyes of the tiger and the stars. The next one is alliteration, and over here we have consonant sound st, means stairs and stars is been consigned, so that becomes alliteration. And the last one is repetition, and over here the brilliant, that word is being repeated, so this becomes repetition. I hope you all have understood. Thank you for watching.